In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through the process of setting up the Windows Subsystem for Linux, or better known as WSL, on a Windows 10 device. So WSL is an easy way that you can use to deploy a Linux-based operating system such as Linux Ubuntu or Kali Linux on a Windows 10 device. But before we begin, let's take a look at an overview of the steps covered in this guide. So first, I'm going to show you how to install the Windows Subsystem for Linux. I'll then proceed to show you how you can install a distribution such as Kali Linux from the command line interface and also from the Microsoft Store. I'll then proceed to show you how you can actually run Windows commands from within a WSL operating system, and also how to access Linux files from the Windows File Explorer. And finally, we'll then take a look at networking in the Windows Subsystem for Linux. So I'm going to go ahead and open up PowerShell and run the WSL install command. So you'll actually see a couple of UAC prompts that you need to agree to allow the installation to proceed. So I've actually already done so. And as you can see, the installation is now in progress. So the first thing that will happen is it will go ahead and install the virtual machine platform. And once that is installed, it will actually go ahead and install the Windows Subsystem for Linux itself. So it does take about 5 to 10 minutes, and it just depends on the performance of your machine and also the performance of your internet connection. But once the installation is done, I'm then going to go ahead and restart my computer, as it is actually a necessary step that needs to be done to actually complete the installation successfully. So I should be almost done in about 10 seconds or so. And also, one other thing that WSL does by default is it will install a distribution. So in this case, it's actually going to install Linux Ubuntu. So I'm just going to go ahead and restart my computer. And when it restarts, you can actually see that it's actually now downloading the Ubuntu image and operating system files. So we actually get WSL installed, and we also get Linux Ubuntu as the default distribution that gets set up within WSL. So when the installation is complete, you'll actually see a welcome page showing you details regarding WSL, such as GUI apps, networking integration, distro management, and stuff. But I'm just going to close out of there, as I actually want to complete the setup for the Linux Ubuntu distribution. So it's actually doing the provisioning now. And once it's done, I need to set up a user account. So I'm just going to accept the default user name that it's set up for me. And I'm just going to go ahead and enter a password. So I'm just going to repeat that password now. And there you have it. So we now have access to the Linux Ubuntu distribution that's actually been installed after WSL was actually installed. So I'm just going to run the cat etc os release command to verify the version of Ubuntu that's been installed. And as you can see, we actually have the 24.04 version of Ubuntu actually running within WSL on my Windows 10 device. So I'm going to exit out of here and show you how you can actually access the WSL Ubuntu instance. So you simply need to run the WSL-D Ubuntu command when you open up PowerShell if you want to gain access to the Ubuntu instance. And you can simply run the exit command to exit out of the instance. If you want to see the available distributions that can be installed, you can simply run the WSL-list-online command to show all the available Linux distributions that can actually be installed in WSL. So I'm now going to show you how you can install Kali Linux using the Microsoft Store. So you simply open Microsoft Store and run a search for Kali Linux. In the return result, select the Kali Linux option that you see, and then click on the Get button. So it actually go ahead and download the needed operating system files. It will go ahead and install them for you, and it will just display a prompt prompting you to set up a username and a password. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Open button, and as you can see, the Kali Linux installation is actually now in progress. So it does take a few minutes, and once it's done, I'm simply going to specify a username. In my case, that's going to be admin, and I'm going to type in a custom password for the Kali Linux distribution. So once the password has been set, we should have an installation successful message being displayed, and as you can see, we've actually been logged in automatically. So I can actually access the Kali Linux distribution from WSL by simply running the WSL-D Kali Linux command. And as you can see, I now actually have access to both the Linux Ubuntu distro as well as the Kali Linux distro, all happening on a single Windows 10 instance. So you can run the WSL-list command to see all of the distributions that you have installed. In my case, I actually have Ubuntu and Kali Linux. It can actually add the --verbose option on that command to actually see which instances are stopped and which instances are actually running. So I'm going to go ahead and run the WSL-d Ubuntu command. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the notepad.exe command just to show you how you can actually run Windows commands from within a WSL instance. So you can actually launch Windows-based applications right from your WSL instance. And you can also open up the File Explorer and directly access all of the Linux files for all of the WSL instances that you've got. So as you can see, I'm actually inside of the Ubuntu home directory for the user that I actually set up during the installation. I can actually go out of here and go into the Kali Linux directory and go into the home directory, for example, and actually go into the admin directory and actually see all of the admin files from within the Windows File Explorer. So let's take a look at the IP address that's been assigned to this Ubuntu instance, and you can see that it's actually a 172.20 address. But if I run the ipconfig command on my Windows PC, you can actually see that it is a 192.168.117.70 address. So this means that the devices are using NAT or network address translation to communicate. But if you actually want network mirroring such that the WSL instances are on the same network as your actual device, you need to create a certain config file. So you simply need to run notepad.exe, then you add the parameters that I'm actually typing in now to create a network config file for WSL. So it's actually a .wsl config file. So it will prompt if you actually want to create the file and just confirm the creation. And you need to add a special config in this file. So I'm just going to type in the config now. It's actually a special config that I'm actually looking up now. And I'll actually then go ahead and type it as I'm actually reading it from the Windows documentation page. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the parameter that is needed, which is actually networking mode. Take note of the capital M there, and then equal to mirrored. So this will actually go ahead and change the config within WSL from network address translation to network mirroring. So you can actually confirm the file has been created right from the Windows File Explorer, as you can see. And you also need to ensure that it's not a .txt file. So once you have that file set up, you simply need to stop all of your WSL instances. And you also need to terminate any that are actually running. So you can terminate them one by one, or you can simply run the WSL shutdown command to forcefully shut down WSL in all of the running instances. So after making a WSL config change, you need to wait for about 8 seconds. And after the wait time, you can then run the command to open a session to a WSL instance. So I'm going to run the command now. And as you can see, I'm actually seeing a mirrored networking mode is not supported error. This is actually happening because my particular Windows version does not have the required feature. So you can either try to install a Windows update to see if you can get the required feature, or you can use something like Windows 11, which should have all of the required items needed to support this feature. So there you have it. That's a quick look at how you can set up the Windows Subsystem for Linux on a Windows 10 device. And I've also showed you a possible limitation or possible issue that can actually happen when you actually do an installation on Windows version 19.045.5965. So thank you for watching. Please consider to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And please consider to share this video with your peers, colleagues, and friends. I hope this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.